I am recording. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Hello, I am Dave Mamano, the host of the Gonzo Experience. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Truly appreciate it. This is where we try to, get entrepreneurs who have agreed to be just raw and real and share what's going on behind the curtain. And today we have a great guest. Her name is Stacy Small. Stacy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave. Happy to be here with you.
Truly appreciate you being here. You are in Maui, Hawaii, which is very far where I am in Rochester, New York, in many different ways, right? You're probably a beautiful, gorgeous, sunny weather right now. And I'm in 35-degree, sunny, gray sky, snowy gray skies.
Not snowing. It's not snowing here.
Not snowing in Hawaii. But we feel like we probably met in because we're just about the same age. You are from Rochester. I have to say that you are from Rochester. You're from the next town over. I'm from Pittsburgh. You're from Brighton. And we graduated high school the same year. And we probably went to the same party. We got parties. John Val. We got to throw John Val out there. He was the kid in high school in my class that had all the parties, and you were there. So I'm sure we met. But since then,
don't tell my parents.
I know. Well, it's okay.
We're at the movies.
We're at the movies. Yeah. Oh, how funny. But then we started following each other through mutual friends on Facebook, and I've watched your journey. And we often joke that the journey of an entrepreneur is a roller coaster journey. And I'm going to read your bio right now because we're going to get a feel for that journey in your bio, and then we're going to dig deep with you, who has agreed to just tell it like it is, the ups, downs, the good, bad, and ugly, and everywhere in between. So Stacy, here we go. So Stacy Small, she is the founder and the CEO of an $18 million elite travel firm. $18 million. That's a lot of money.
We didn't, last year.
Yeah. So that's congratulations. Pre-pandemic, but we'll talk about that. Stacy is also a cookie-loving celiac who has been on a quest to create the perfect cookie that is safe for her to eat, and equally important, tastes delicious and sparks joy at first bite. Friends have asked her for years, when would she start selling these gluten-free Reiki, which we'll talk about, Reiki-infused cookies of joy. But it wasn't until the pandemic halted global travel that she had the time to turn her therapeutic baking hobby into a business called Stacy Maui Cookies Incorporated. And in just a few months since launching, Stacy and the cookies have been featured in Honolulu Magazine, The Points Guy, and Bloomberg, and online sales have jumped 2,000% in the past month.
200%.
Oh, did I say 2,000?
We'll get there. Thank you. You're manifesting it.
Thanks for correcting me. You're so modest.
200.
I'm just predicting the future, Stacy. Come on.
That's awesome.
I'm just predicting next month.
Yep.
200% as of last month. A proven brand ambassador and former award-winning travel journalist, Stacy was the founding editorial director for Elite Traveler, the private jet magazine. For the past decade, she managed to travel for a global portfolio of high-level entrepreneurs, investors, celebrities, and media executives. She earned the nickname as the Google of travel amongst her high-tech clientele, and still works with a curated group of high-end travelers seeking a safe return to traveling when the pandemic finally ends. She's also a certified Reiki master, and it's a side business of offering distance Reiki, energy healing, and spiritual coaching. Her first book, Why Not Me? 12 Lessons a Year on an Island, taught me about living my dreams and how you can live yours too, was published in 2019. Stacy resides full-time on the island of Maui, Hawaii, with her 3 rescue dogs, and is currently creating plans for a Maui-based dedicated gluten-free kitchen, as well as a global gluten-free collectives where anyone with celiac or gluten issues will be able to find I like this, Highvibe, not high-end, Highvibe, locally produced gluten-free products. You can find her at stacymaui.com and her cookies at stacymauicookies.com. So talk about, you wrote your book last year. I wrote my book. My book came out this year, right before the pandemic. And my book was called Crash and Learn. And holy cannoli, you are like the case study for crashing and learning.
I am.
Coming from an $18 million business that was based on traveling to, who would have thought, like, what could stop travel? A pandemic. But I'm sure that was never in your business plan. Like, well, what if a pandemic hits? Let me,
No, no, I was starting to think, how do I slow down a little bit, maybe, and curate my client list a little? I had like a little bit too much. I was working a little too hard. So I was already starting to think, but I never I didn't mean to manifest a pandemic and like stop it
Right.
altogether.
This is your fault? Is there?
I don't know. I manifested, I wanted more peace this year in my life. So here we
Oh,
are.
wow. Yeah. So, we have a mutual friend, Steve Sugamelli, who
Yeah.
texted me your article in Bloomberg and said, hey, do you know Stacy? She should be on your podcast. I read the article and I'm like, yes, she should, because what a
Yeah.
pivot from travel to cookies, right? I mean, there's like no correlation. There's no like circles that overlap. Like, oh, I could take this piece of the business and put it here. I mean, it's like brand new business, right? So,
Yeah.
so tell us about that experience, and also really important. Tell us about like what were you going through, your emotions, your feelings as the pandemic hit, and what did that feel like, and then how did that lead to you reinventing?
Well, I moved back to Maui at the end of January, full time. And it was always in my mind that this was going to be my year of less travel. I never actually said no travel, but I was kind of planning to ground myself and focus on, again, just making sure my health was in order. January and February were so busy, people booking summer travel. Like I didn't get a chance to start doing that. It was March 13th to March 20th when everybody started texting and my phone blowing up. And for 24 hours a day, I became a travel counselor. So I went from booking, tons of travel and not being able to keep up to having my entire income and, so many trips that I had planned on. Being in this kind of business, we get paid after people travel. So not only had I already done, a year's worth of work, but I was undoing all of my future income, and it was soul drenching. Like it was just not so much about the money, but I'd put all this work and time into it. And to be honest, Dave, people weren't super nice. All they cared about was getting their refund, their ticket refunded. They can't go to Peru next week. I had a lawyer threaten to sue me. I think it's a client in LA. I won't say his name, obviously, he'll sue me, but it just hurt so badly to be yelled at by people, like, because I wasn't getting them their money back fast enough. And 3 out of my 50 clients said, hey, let me pay you for your time, or I know you put a lot of work in. So, God bless those people. It was wonderful. But everybody was so caught up in their crazy. And I think I just, after about 2 weeks of it, I don't even know if I ever want to like get back into this business again. It just was painful. So I spent a lot of time undoing all those, years of work, weeks of work, dozen for the entire year. My team everybody was going through the same thing, but we never saw what was actually really coming, which was the end of travel for this year. So it hit me pretty quickly that I was not going to be able to sustain, an income based on travel for this year. And I just baked a batch of cookies because they're really, really good. And I had started it a few years ago for myself. I was kind of told to go grain-free, ditch the dairy, on top of being celiac, no rice, no corn, no soy, like nothing fun. So I just became like a scientist, and I created these cookies and started gifting them to people in like Tupperware. I didn't have logos. I didn't have bags. I just started giving them to people and hearing how great they were. So next thing I know, I had a car accident in April. I'll mention that was the big kind of like, glad I'm still alive. Let's get on with it. My time here is not done.
Just when you thought the year couldn't get worse.
That was in April, but it was within a week. I went back to just being my own. I'm still a luxury travel advisor. I'm affiliated with a great company and I work with my clients, but I disbanded my 28-person team of independent contractors. Everybody was kind of, went their own way and free agent, but it freed me up to just trust the universe and to focus on putting my energy into the cookies. And I burnt my hand from the airbag from the car accident. It kind of smashed. You can't see it anymore, but it was like therapeutic almost to bake cookies. And I started raking myself and my dogs and the cookies. And next thing I know, I have this, I don't know, people asking for these cookies and what can they pay me for them? So, it's a short story of, I've never said I'll not book travel again. I have clients asking for Reiki healing. I'd always wanted to do more than that. So we created the stacymaui.com website as my umbrella site. It still has a travel page. It has a cookies page. It has my book link. It's kind of everything I offer, but it's getting to the point where Stacy Maui Cookies is sort of overtaking everything else. And I'm especially after speaking to someone like Heather Sapper, who's been there, done that, she's guested on your show. Her best advice to me this weekend was, if you make damn good cookies, focus on those damn good cookies, and like, don't get distracted by all the other bigger, ideas right now. Focus on the cookies. And so that's where I am, kind of focusing on the cookies.
Yeah. So this is your full-time business. I mean, this is how you're making your income right now.
It's a startup, It's like
Yeah.
we're looking for some seed investors to help us get the needed funding to build a gluten-free kitchen, which I feel is really important. I don't like the idea of baking gluten-free anything in a kitchen shared with other producers, but cost-wise, as a startup entrepreneur, it's I bring all my own stuff. I'm super careful, but I'm celiac and I want my own little space with high vibes, high energy, what I'm putting into the cookies, and then invite other gluten-free producers maybe to be part of my collective and my kitchen. So creating a bigger opportunity. But that's where we're at with it. Right now, I bake cookies sometimes 10, 12 hours a day, and then spend another 2-3 hours packing them up like I did last night. And that's why I look a little tired. I go to FedEx. I'm the delivery. I deliver to the west side, to Four Seasons, Maui, whoever wants cookies. My dogs and I get in my Jeep and we drive around Maui and we deliver cookies. It's kind of fun.
I love, well, right now you're literally chief cook and bottle washer in,
I sure am.
right? So,
Yep.
for those people like that don't know, most people know what gluten-free is. But what is the difference with celiac for those that don't know?
It's just kind of higher level. Like celiac really means you're going to get sick if you eat. And just the only way to not get sick is to not eat gluten. A lot of people have gluten sensitivities and stay away from it for health reasons.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I read 2.5 million undiagnosed cases every year of celiac. A lot of kids are being diagnosed with it. But these cookies are really for anyone. And my goal, they taste so good from what I've heard that you can give them to your kids and not tell them they're gluten-free and vegan and dairy-free. And they're going to say, Dad, get some more of those cookies. Like, that's what I keep hearing from my friends with kids, husbands. So if you have a celiac in the family or a vegan in the family or somebody with, who's picky about their food, this is really a delicious cookie for everybody.
And celiac, or I'll say gluten-free food a few years ago, a lot of it just tasted like bland cardboard. And I think people like you were like, we want to like enjoy these cookies or enjoy this pizza dough or whatever it is, right? So this bread. But you said, so I know somebody who is, who has a gluten issue and a gluten intolerance, but she can have corn, right? But you said you can't even have corn, right?
I try not to, because it's just, for me, I've been on kind of an anti-inflammatory. I was diagnosed with mono at 46 years old, which led to all kinds of questions. And my mom had passed away. So I had other things going through my body, and my mental and spiritual and physical health became my top priority. This is 2016, really. And part of that was going to a naturopath who said, okay, you're going to hate me, but I'm going to tell you, for a year, no grains, no alcohol, no fish, like anything that might have metal or be inflammatory. So I said, oh God, I think I can do it, but I love corn chips. How am I going to live without chips and salsa? That was like my big concern. So I Googled it and I came on this company, Siete Foods, and they're in Whole Foods now. They're all over the place a few years later. They're my inspiration. And they created a grain-free tortilla chip that has gotten me through the last 3.5 years of being grain-free. I eat so many, and they're sold everywhere, but they're a family business. And somebody in the family got told they couldn't have grains, and they thought, but we're a Mexican family, how are we going to? So now they have tortillas and chips, and they kind of inspired me to get on this train and just create a cookie for myself and others that might have a similar situation with their health.
Yeah. So without giving away your, we usually say this as a joke, like your secret recipe, but literally your secret recipe. Why do your cookies taste so good? How are you adding love and joy to these cookies?
It really killed me to have to put my labels. You can't sell product without putting ingredient labels. You can't pass the health certificate. So I had to disclose my actual ingredients. But I had a real chef working in the kitchen with me one day, and I realized her hands in the cookie, like her cookies weren't going to taste like the way my cookies tasted, even if I gave her the ingredients. So I Reiki the dough. It sounds woo-woo and weird, but I literally do like what I would do to a person that I'm giving high energy Reiki healing to. I always have my crystals around. I have Highvibe music on. I don't know. Everyone that tries them that's kind of into this stuff says the same thing. These cookies taste magic. I taste the healing. I think because I'm on Maui and I've got ocean views where I'm baking, and it's different. And there's
Yeah.
nothing in there that's inflammatory. I could tell you the ingredients. It's a lot of coconut based ingredients. There's no butter, there's no dairy. It's more about what's not in these cookies, and
Yeah.
it's very low sugar. So people have said they can eat a bag of these cookies and not feel fat and not wake up feeling sick. That's
Yeah.
success to me.
That is success.
Right.
Well, it maybe does sound woo to somebody, but you ask any great chef, like, why does your food taste so good? And they'll say, well, I added the love, and it does,
Yeah.
it comes from the heart, right? Isn't there a study where if you, say positive words to water, even like the molecules change in the water. I mean, there was a research study done with that. And then if you're yelling or say negative words to water,
Yeah.
the molecules in the water change a different way as well. So what you're saying could be very well true and not woo woo at all. So maybe this is like
Yeah.
next level science, right?
Well, I've been talking to a couple of friends in LA, and everyone in LA is really into this, but this is a trend, this high vibe food. When
Mm,
you eat high vibe food, you raise your own vibration, you feel better. When you
yeah.
eat, think about what you eat. When you eat things that are greasy or aren't good for us, which I do at times, you eat them with intention and try to still feel good, but it's gonna take some time. So I'm really conscious about what I eat and what I put into my own world. So I've just tried to create a cookie that kind of fits in with that. And I eat a lot of it. I taste every batch because they're good, but I still have to be the chief taste tester. So
Well,
I eat
next
a
time
lot
you
of
come
these
back
cookies.
to visit your hometown of Rochester, I want you to Reiki a garbage plate for me, and we'll
I might eat the Reiki garbage plate. I don't know.
give it a shot. We'll
Maybe
try it.
chicken wings. We can find some
Yep.
gluten-free chicken
For those of
wings.
you not from Rochester, one of our claim to fames, unfortunately or fortunately, it's called the garbage plate. Google it. It's a very interesting meal.
Yes, people out here know about it. There's actually some upstate New Yorkers. It's funny out here on this little island.
Yeah, we've gotten quite famous. I don't know if it's what we want to be famous for, but it's somewhat what we're famous for. So
At least our football, well, Buffalo, we have a decent football team now. So
I know, we're recording this on, what is it? The 21st of January, and last weekend, they AFC East, for those of you paying attention to football, and hasn't happened since
excited.
1995. So, whoo.
I know. I kind of like pay attention on behalf of my dad, who was a real diehard Bills fan and
Yep.
forced us to go to some of those very snowy games back in the day.
Yep. So I we were talking a little bit before we hit record so you're on an island that is, it's a state, it's part of America, but it's very far away from the mainland, and you have to ship cookies
Yeah.
and factor that cost into your price. Tell everybody how you've managed to learn about how to keep those costs down.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started doing this, I was literally going to Whole Foods and buying the ingredients at retail or wherever I could find things. And I realized this was going to be I talked to a client, a friend of mine in San Francisco, and he said, you're not going to be able to continue making these on Maui if you want this to be a profitable business. And I said, well, I'm going to have to figure that out because I'm on Maui and I really hope I never have to leave. But yeah, I don't want to make Stacy Maui cookies in Podunk, Kansas. But so I struck up a friendship with the owner of one of the local grocery stores here. There's a lot of community owned and family owned. It kind of has that Rochester community sense. And he'd Instagram me and I said, can I drop off some cookies for you to try? I was thinking maybe it would be a good test place. And anyway, he's one of my, become a good friend. His name's Darren. He owns a store called Alive and Well, 25 years owned here on Maui. And they sell my cookies, which is great because they have the right demographic. However, I was able to bring my costs down a ton thanks to him. He puts my ingredients through his order, so I don't have to order on Amazon and pay shipping to get ingredients. So I found ways we'll work with a local business owner. Every Monday I text him my list of what I need, 25 pounds of, Bob's almond flour. And it's a little old school, and it's, I pay, cookies are currency. We deduct however many cookies I sell in wholesale, and we just Venmo each other back and forth. But I'm very grateful to him because it's cut my costs like 40%. So it allows us. We've also worked with FedEx. I've learned that they work with small businesses, and you don't have to pay retail when you're doing even slow, growth and volume. And we've been able to bring our shipping costs down a lot. I only want to ship these cookies to you, Dave. Like, I want to bake them today and ship them out no later than tomorrow morning. I want these cookies to taste freshly baked. I heat seal every tin. It's a whole thing. I pack it and I make sure it's, secure, and I run the box the next morning to FedEx. So it's a whole thing. But
So we're here Monday, the 21st. If you ship them tomorrow, when do you think I would get them by?
Well, with the holiday, I'm going to ship yours next Monday to make sure you get them next week. But
Yeah.
I'll bake them, Sunday or Monday morning. I'll have them at FedEx Monday morning. You should have them on Wednesday. We've been shipping across the country, and you should get them. But that's why it's not a cheap product. I tried to order some Garrett's popcorn last night from Chicago for some friends here that I wanted to give it to. They want to charge me $68 to have 2 tins of popcorn shipped here.
Right. Yeah.
We charge $28 flat fee, whether you order 1 tin, 2 tin, and you get freshly baked cookies in 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's at this point, you're like, you know what? I'm going to make them cookies.
You know what? I just do it. And we've been shipping them out. We tried playing around with some discount codes. It's not a discount product. It's some of the best advice I ever got is if you want to drive a Porsche, don't go to the Honda dealer. Like, they don't sell Porsches at the Honda dealer.
Right.
So I don't.
Well, look at your former business, Elite
Yes.
Travel, right? So you're high end. Yeah, I like it. And that's your brand, right? I'm not going to, J.C. Penney to, buy an Armani suit, right? So,
Yeah.
but listen, it's a choice, right? I was, someone told me, what the most profitable restaurant in the world is. And it's McDonald's, right?
I know, right? I know. And I don't really want to be the McDonald's of cookies. I don't need to be the most profitable cookie. I just want to be a profitable one.
Exactly. So it's all a choice, right? So,
and I've had people ask me if I want to go that route and get these cookies. Sure. Would I love to see them on Wegmans gluten-free thing? Maybe. But if it's going to require me to add ingredients that I don't quite feel authentic about, or create them in a different way, I don't think it's a mass market. I think we're working on a do-it-yourself kit.
Mm-hmm.
Where I package the dry mix, the chips, the crushed mac nuts from Maui, which everybody loves, and we package it really nicely, and that can sit on a shelf and be non-perishable, and that can be more of a grocery store-ish product.
Wow, what a good idea. Yeah.
We've been trying to get creative. We got time in my hands, so yeah, it's spurring some new ideas. But that's what investors are asking us: what's your big plan? How are you going to get this out there? 3 to 4 days shelf life isn't going to, get cookies on the shelves at Safeway or Whole Foods or wherever.
Right.
So,
Stacy, so cool. And so it's interesting. You don't think you're going to go back into travel. I mean, this is your new baby.
From your ears to, who knows? I get excited when somebody really cool who I love working with asks me to look into some, Hawaii week I just worked on yesterday, but they can't get their tests in time, or there's a risk they might. So I spend time and they get excited, I get excited, and then bam, I've had like 5 that just say, so I've just learned to kind of roll with it. I'm enjoying, I've shifted my perspective with the cookies a little bit yesterday. I could have been really annoyed that I had 8 hours of work ahead of me and my own 2 hands to do all this work and packing. And I thought, I get to bake delicious cookies all day. I mean, there's people out there in warehouses or terrible locations and, doing jobs they hate. I've chosen to do this for one. I like doing it. Even 11 o'clock last night, packing the last boxes, I was like, I'm sending cookies to Heather Saffer, who's on Cupcake Wars. I want her to taste these cookies. I can't wait to get them to her. So that keeps me kind of high vibe and excited about it.
Yeah, it's exciting. Well, I love your attitude because, you're right. There's a guy that woke up today in rural Pennsylvania that had to go in the coal mines all day, and you get to make cookies. So you're right.
And I Reiki them, which is what I want to be doing. And now, I sent you that little TikTok video. I want to learn new tricks. I have a connection. I'm coaching somebody, this really cool girl, if she's watching, Stalker Sarah, we'll mention her because she's awesome. She's 25 and she has photos of herself with every celebrity in LA because her dad's a photographer, but that's not why she's so awesome. She's on the spiritual path and understands the high vibe food, and she's coaching me a little bit. She's like, we need to get you on TikTok and you need to start doing videos, and we need to get you on YouTube. So I'm rolling with it, following her lead, but that excites me because there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
How do you market cookies to a global audience? TikTok.
Well, and as Heather said before to you too, you focus on the cookies and let Stalker Sarah, her expertise, social media, let her focus on that for you, and you just continue to do what you do best, right? So I love it. Well, Stacy Small, I can't wait to try the cookies. Thank
You're
you so
getting
much.
next week.
And thanks for your inspiring story. Thanks for sharing it. I truly appreciate it. If people want to contact you, learn more about you, what's the best ways to do that?
Email is the best. So Stacy at stacymaui.com. No E's in Stacy, just Stacy at stacymaui.com, or on Instagram, Stacy Maui Cookies, on Facebook. We're all over social media right. I think we froze.
Yep.
Did you hear me?
Yeah. Do that part again as far as how to get in touch with you.
Okay, so the best way to reach me, feel free to send me an email, Stacy at stacymaui.com, and there's no E's in Stacy, just STACY at stacymaui.com. We're all over social media at Stacy Maui Cookies. You'll find us on Instagram, no TikTok, and Facebook. So you can find us anywhere on social media, but shoot me a personal email if you want to get in touch with me.
Awesome. Thank you, Stacey. Thank you so much. Appreciate what you're doing for the world, and what a great story. And thanks for sharing. Wish you continued success.
Thank you, Dave, for having me. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
And everybody, thank you for listening to the Gonzo Experience. Do me a favor. Go to your favorite podcast app if you're not there already. Download it, subscribe it, rate and review us. Would truly appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day. Make sure to stay awesome.